Disney released the movie Mulan in 1998. Although the movie was mainly targeted for Western audiences, it was also a way for Disney to increase their profits by spreading into Chinese markets. One of the reasons that Disney decided to do this was due to the failure of the movie Kundun, which was released the previous year in 1997. The movie did not air in China at all due to the political messages within the film that supported the independence of Tibet, a sensitive topic in China at the time that caused the Chinese government to block all airings of the movie, as well as threatening to not air any future Disney movies in China whatsoever. Disney, a company who has always favored profits, started backtracking and started productions of Mulan almost immediately after the release of Kundun as a way to lower tensions between Disney and China, but mostly so that Disney could profit off of the Chinese market that was growing at the time. It took longer for Mulan to release in China compared to the US, mostly due to regulations by the Chinese government and the release of Kundun, but the film was eventually released in Chinese theaters. However, the movie was not received very fondly, especially in comparison to the US. Scott then cites the author The U that says the United States presents China as an Orientalist fantasy of an ancient China for Western audiences, with little regard for legitimate cultural appreciation. You can see this reflected in the numbers, as Mulan made around $23 million in China, but the US had made around $120 million. The main reason that the movie did not do well in China is due to the cultural and historical inaccuracies within the movie. The original Ballad of Mulan was originally written from the northern dynasties during the 6th century. Mulan's story is not only very old, but is also very culturally significant and is heavily tied into cultural identity in China. Disney did not do much research into these cultural identities that are so important to these stories of the Ballad of Mulan, but instead changed many parts of the story to fit within Western culture and ideals. We are told that there was only one female Asian writer in the 1998 movie, and whether or not she is Chinese or of Chinese descent, we are not even told. This is a stark contrast to Jingle Ma's Mulan, Rise of a Warrior, which was released in 2009, and was received very positively by both Chinese and Chinese American audiences. Although both Disney and Ma share the same tale, their priorities were very different. Disney had changed and or removed some of the parts of the original tale to fit within the Western gaze. Specifically, Disney focused more within Mulan's individual achievements, hierarchy, and a large focus on battle and large scenes, while Ma's version focuses more on character development and evolving the relationship between Mulan and her allies. There was a larger focus on the collective achievements among Mulan and her friends, as opposed to Disney's interpretation that shows Mulan's achievements as hers alone. This made Ma's version feel more realistic and much closer to the original story, which Chinese audiences appreciated. The thing is, American major film industries can correctly appreciate and represent Asian cultures, as just 10 years after Mulan's release, Kung Fu Panda, which was released by DreamWorks, was heavily praised by American, Chinese American, and Chinese audiences for having accuracies to Chinese culture and identity, focusing on accuracy and engagement. Disney's largest issue with the movie Mulan that made it so unfavorable for Chinese and Chinese American audiences is that it was obvious by its inaccuracies and Western style that it was not just a failure of representation, but also a ploy to capitalize off of Chinese culture and identity without properly doing the research and care to make the movie Mulan more culturally accurate or significant. A way to move forward would be in the future to do proper research and listen to Asian writers when it comes to writing stories of Asian identity and culture, as was somewhat seen in DreamWorks' movie Kung Fu Panda. As for the next syllabus, I would include a topic that focuses on movie production that uses culture for socioeconomic gain that was somewhat similar to Disney's Mulan.